Hey, Kevin here, Mr. DIY Dork from DIYDork.com. Today I want to show you a really cool and fun way to make some extra money by flipping Craigslist furniture my way. So check this out, I think you're going to like it. Alright, so this is part 2 of my video series about flipping furniture. In this one we're going to talk about the deal. And this is where you make sure that the piece that you're looking at is actually worth buying and it's going to be a good one to redo to resell so that you can make some pretty good money. Also, I'm going to explain some ideas and tips and tricks about negotiating price and things to look out for and all that, just to make sure that it goes smooth and that you get a good piece. So the first thing that you want to do is to ask questions. So I recommend either calling or emailing the seller. I would recommend that over texting because when you text, it always turns into shorthand and you don't quite get all the details that you could through emailing or talking on the phone. And you want to ask as many important questions as you can to get as much detail as you can without being annoying. So you want to ask them things like condition, and are there any broken parts? Is anything missing? Is it real wood? Because what happens a lot of times is you'll find a piece that looks pretty good, but the listing on Craigslist is terrible. It's like a real fuzzy, bad lit cell phone picture, and then the listing just says dresser, 80 bucks, and then a phone number, and there's no details whatsoever. So you want to find out as much as you can. You want to find out, you can't quite tell if it's real wood or if it's laminate, and that shadow on the side, is that a hole or is that a shadow? So you can ask for more pictures or just more details. And you go back and forth a few times before you decide, if it's worth pursuing or not. So then if you do decide to get it, you want to meet the seller. So you at least want to get their name and their number in case you need to reschedule or you get lost when you're driving or whatever, and then get an address. Like if you're meeting at a house, make sure you get an address. Or maybe you just want to set up a time to meet at like a store parking lot or a gas station parking lot if you're not familiar with the town they live in. I do that every once in a while. The other thing that's important is bring cash, and bring enough cash, and maybe even more than you need especially if you're meeting at a house, because what happens is when you're looking at this piece, you can ask them if they have something else that's kind of similar, or maybe it's a dresser and it also has a mirror that goes with it. You could flip the dresser and the mirror separately and make a lot more money than if you just got the dresser. So you want to ask, if they have anything else, and they'll probably give you a pretty good deal because they weren't really thinking about selling it anyway, and you're already there with money, so they'll give you a pretty good deal on it. That actually happened to me, and I'll show that to you here at the end of this video. The other thing about that is that you want to bring enough money to buy the piece, but probably expect to pay a little less, but break it down, because the last thing you want to do is to show up to get an $80 dresser, you negotiate down to $65, and then you hand them a $100 bill, and it causes them, they just kind of look at you like, oh my gosh, this guy just negotiated me down and he had $100 on him. The other thing you don't want to do is, let's say it's the same deal, it was 80 bucks, you negotiate down to 65, and then you hand them 4 20s. I actually learned a hard way not to do this. I met someone at a store parking lot, we worked out the deal, I decided to go a little lower, but then I didn't have the right change with me, and they didn't either, so they actually had to go into the store where we were at the parking lot. They had to buy like a pack of gum or something like that so that they could get change, and it was just a whole ordeal, so don't do that, okay? You want to make sure that you bring small bills, 5s, 10s, 20s. If you're under $100, I would just bring 5s, 10s, 20s. I wouldn't even mess with 50s. You maybe do 50s if you're buying something kind of expensive. But when you break it down, then you can make exact change if you work out a deal. Okay, but before you even hand the money, before you totally decide to buy the piece, you want to inspect it with your hands. So you want to make sure it's exactly as described. If it has drawers, make sure they pull out and that it's pretty smooth. Make sure the piece doesn't wobble or it just feels real flimsy overall. If the person didn't know if it was real wood or not, you want to verify yourself. Just make sure there's nothing missing, or it's worse condition than you thought, or maybe this thing's better than you thought, and you just want to definitely check for yourself before you make the deal. Then when it's time to make the deal, there's when you can negotiate. You can almost always negotiate a lower price, especially if the piece kind of sucks. If you show up, you're expecting to, let's say it was an $80 dresser, and you look at it and it's like, this thing is just not quite what I thought, but it would probably be worth it if I could get it for less, then negotiate a deal. But I recommend only negotiating up to maybe 25 to 30% less. Maybe only 10 or 15% less if it seems, if It was $80 dresser, but it's not quite what you thought. You know, you could ask $65 or $70 for it. But don't chop them right in half. That happens a lot, and it's really annoying when you're selling something, you know, that you redone, and you're selling it for $100, and then someone asks if you can get it for 50. You're like, no, you know, I'm asking $100. I want as close as you can get to that. Don't chop me right in half. So this person doesn't want you to do that to him either. So, you know, maybe up to 25 or 30% less, because you're probably offering more than other people, and you'll get the deal. On the other end of the spectrum is that if you show up and this thing is an absolute smoking deal and it is way better than you thought, hand them the money, the original price, and get out of there before anyone else gets a chance to buy it, because you just got an awesome deal and you're gonna make some really good money on it. So what I'll do real quick is I'll show you the coffee table that I bought when I brought it home, and the extra purchase that I got, because I got a pretty good little deal with that. So I'll show it to you right now. So I just purchased the table from the guy that had it for sale on Craigslist, and I got it in my car here. I just wanted to point out that you want to make sure you have the hauling capability of picking up whatever you need. And I got a little Scion XB here, and the back, the seats fold down. It's not quite as big as like a pickup truck, but I can still fit a decent size piece of furniture back here. This table's 42 inches in diameter, and it fits fine back here. And anyway, it's solid wood, just like I expected, and it has the split here, which means it expanded, and it used to have leaves in there, and it used to be a dining table just like I thought. You can see here, all they did was someone chopped down the leg, and it made this thing from the floor to the top 18 inches, which is standard for a coffee table. And it used to probably be about 33 inches as a kitchen table. Now it's a coffee table. Real nice piece. It's going to be really easy to distress. I can tell that some of the finish is coming off already, so I think it's going to sand down real easy, and then we're going to do a really cool finish on it. But anyway, I just wanted to show it to you in the car. I also want to point something else out. When I was there, they also had this mirror for sale, and if you've seen my other video about flipping mirrors, you know that you can do really well with them as long as they have an interesting design to them. And this has all the features that look really good when it's distressed. They had it for 18 bucks, and I got it for 15. And then the table back there, it was listed at 40, and they just dropped it to 30 bucks. So I got both of these for 45 bucks. And I expect to make close to $100 profit on the table. And let's see, I bought this for 15. I think it will sell for probably about 50 bucks. So I'll make about a, what is that, $30–40 profit on that. And I think it'll do really well. So I think it was a good purchase for today. So that's a big part of the deal, is see if people have anything else for sale, and just get a really good deal on a good piece of furniture that you know do well and is the right size. All right, check that out, pretty cool. That coffee table turned out to be exactly what I thought. It was a great piece. It was actually just as ugly as I thought, but in really good condition. And then at the same time, they had that mirror that I couldn't believe I got for 15 bucks. That thing is gonna sell awesome. I'm gonna get some really good money out of that and just sweeten the pot even more. So go ahead, if you haven't checked out the other videos in the series, check them out. You can kind of learn the little process I'm talking about here. And then also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that right now so that you can keep up with more of these little series I'm making and more of my DIY videos, because I make a lot of cool stuff like this all the time. So I want to thank you for watching this, and go ahead and do that. Subscribe, check out the other videos. Thanks a lot.